Along. We're going to do a vlog today. Neil's in the background there, but I just wanted to introduce this vlog and let you know that Two Seats are still very much up and running, and we're going to start planning our summer 26 tours, possibly part of today's conversation. But the last time we met was October 26, and the plan then was that Thelma would continue to run but with a hard top on, and Lou would be tucked in.
What was the last run we did?
We did Southwest Coast Scotland.
Oh, we did, yeah.
And Lou was going to be put away in the garage, kept warm and dry until February, March time, and then Lou would come out, get a little dust down, and we'd start planning. That's what was said in October. But, Neil, over to you.
So I remember, like it was yesterday, the 19th of November, and that sticks in my mind because it's my mother's birthday. So we had arranged back in probably February to attend a gig at Barrowland, which was English teacher. We were so looking forward to that gig. Excellent venue, brilliant band. We're really, really stoked. So I'd managed to book off Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning, and it was literally up there, gig, something to eat, get some shut-eye, straight back down. Amazing journey up, finished bang on 12 o'clock, called for a cheeky McDonald's, did the A1, got quickly bored of it, realised that I would hit traffic if I wasn't careful, so decided to do the A68. Went up the A68 and it had been rather chilly, so the whole of Northumberland and surrounding area was a blanket of snow, yet Scotland and Yorkshire were kind of bathed in sunshine, so it was quite strange that there was hit with this freak snowstorm on the 19th of November. But for me, tramming up the A68, which is a great road anyway, I was just in awe of the view and the spectacle, looking out, and I managed to stop at the border up in Northumberland, right on the tops. Took some pictures and celebrated the union of two amazing countries by parking right on the border. And I posted, and I think I posted just about everywhere because it was worthy of celebration. So I went on my way. Again, tramming through some amazing countryside, and then I got onto the M8, and it was just the wrong time to be there. I think it was about 5, 6 o'clock, and no one wants to be on the M8. Well, everyone's on the M8 at that time, so I decided to go down the back routes. Is it 71 or 73? 71?
You would be on the A71 for a portion of it. Yeah.
So I'm tramming down the back roads, and then I decided to let the sat nav direct because I'm not that familiar with some of the roads. So it took me through this little village. What would it called, Keith?
Well, you would have went through, I think, East Calder first, and then turned into Mid Calder, and Mid Calder was the village.
So I'm going through Mid Calder, minding my own business, and many people would consider it to be my driving, and you can see where this is going. I had gone through a chicane section, and I must have been doing 10, 15 miles an hour tops, and the back end went. And it went, and it's the first time in 15 years of driving MX-5s that I've had the back end out, and I didn't panic, so I did opposite lock, managed to get it under control. But unfortunately, and going back later, I understood why what happened. There was no curb. The little bit of curb that there was full of mud, and I ended up in the barrier of a bridge. Managed to ding my front wing, it then bounced and then hit the back wing, and buckled my steering rack. I didn't find that out till much later. It wasn't rage, it wasn't panic, it was just pure stress, shock and adrenaline. I got it back to Keith, and Keith came out to greet me as if to say, whoa, what?
And just before you move on from that, just to clarify, for those that haven't been through Mid-Calder, it's one of those speed control setups. So Neil is not lying when he says he was doing 10 to 15, because you can't possibly do more. You would have been in the middle of the road in one of these bollards if you'd been going any faster. And it's one's give way to the traffic oncoming, and the other one's give way to you as you drive through. And then you'd gone round the bend. So
yeah, so I'd gone round bend, not many miles an hour. I'd certainly gone down a pothole with my near side front, which had probably unsettled it. That left us with three options. Tried to drive it home, no chance. Try get it repaired up there, or try get it back. After an evening of fish supper and no gig, Claire suggested that I get the train down, so that was very quickly booked. 2 trains, one into Edinburgh, one into Wakefield, which actually got me in the house at 5 to 12, so bang on time, but without my car. Never mind. But I was still left with insurance, which I know that I'd just written it off. Try and get it repaired up there, which would have cost an absolute arm and a leg. I'll get it back. Very long story short, a knight in shining armour came to my rescue. It was only 2 weeks. 2 weeks later? 10 days, wasn't it?
2 weeks of my driveway with your
9 days.
little Thelma.
Yeah, it was a Friday. Yeah. So it was the Friday after. We'd hired a trailer, got up. It was a bloody long day, but a very enjoyable day. It was eventless, other than the journey back through the twisties, which was absolutely hilarious. So we'd let the sat nav decide where we were going. Straight up there without a car, no problem, as expected. It was A65 onto M6 onto M8 straight through Livy. On the way back it took us out to the golf course and the twisties and then right down to Abington with a T. We can have a T at Abington. Yeah. Abington. So it took us down to Abington. So that was fun. There was one little bridge that we nearly bridged. But yeah, managed to get it back. Took it round to Andy's at Mutty's. It stopped there so I crashed on the 19th, picked it up the following Friday, and I got it back on my birthday, all repaired. So I'm going to show you loads of pictures of how I repaired it, and I basically just attacked and ransacked eBay for all the parts that I needed. So there was a wing, there was headlights, I'd managed to crack the rear lights, so they were replaced. What else did I get? Steering rack, because that was and what else? Front bumper was alright actually, but that got repaired. So,
headlight.
Yeah,
did you say headlight? This is like
headlights.
Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah. Headlights, wing, rear lights, steering rack. Yeah. So then, sometime later, I got it back. I got it back on my birthday. Took it into work. So then I am really, really excited about the prospect of getting it back on the road, and
you want to show it off, don't you?
Yeah.
You've spent so much on it. You want to get it back out there,
exactly.
and no better way than with 2 seats.
And all the other thing that I bought I bought a set of wheels, haven't I? Yeah, so while I'm out buying the wing lights, rear lights, steering rack, I bought a set of wheels with the intention of refurbishing the ones that were on that I really like. So over the last couple of months, I've been slowly taking those up to a guy in Featherstone who's refurbished them all while I've had the new to me set. And because the way my mind works, I had kind of decided that apart from potential road conditions, pothole, pure bad luck, that I'd associated me spinning that car with those tyres. So it's got a brand new set of tyres on it, and they were funded by selling my hardtop. So I've only got a softie now. So I can't get a hard anymore. So I've just got a softie now. But that's paid for my tyres and my wheel refurbishment, so I'm really happy at that. And I think it paid for a curry and a pizza. So I'm there with my refurbished wheels, my brand new tyres, my redone up only a year later near side, but new headlights, which I needed anyway. New spotlights. So I've got new spotlights as well. Forgot them to. And managed to get the front end painted. And another number plate which I'd only smashed 2 weeks earlier on a grouse in North Yorkshire. So for all intents and purposes, she was whole again. And I'm not going to put atomic kitten in there.
No, but you could put Trigger's broom in there.
Oh yeah, she's certainly Trigger's broom. So I'm getting really, really excited, and I managed to create a 2 seats calendar for this year, into which I had put in all of the runs that I'm doing with MX5 Wakefield, all of holidays, etc. Really, so Keith knew when I was free, and he could then check his diary, check his calendar, make sure that there were days where Claire was work. Yeah, just a decent all-round picture of when we can go out. I'm going to hand you back to Keith now, because things didn't go to plan, did they?
Things didn't go to plan, and they started not to go to plan in my world when the car Thelma was on the drive. So normally Lou, which was the MR2, would go into the garage. I say normally, there was only 3 winters, but normally go into the garage mid to end of November. And I had decided it would go in the end of November, partly because Neil was coming up for the gig that never happened, and partly because the weather was fairly mild, and it would go away for the winter, and she would come back out March time. Get checked over, ready for this diary of events that Neil was creating. However, Neil's car was in the drive for a week and a half, so we got to that weekend, and I hadn't sorted the garage out post Neil taking the car away, and a week went past and I hadn't sorted the garage out, and we were going away in the other car for Christmas. So I thought, okay, well, if the weather's mild, I'll put it away January, and we'll give it 2 months of garage time. But it was still mild, and the reason I was putting Lou away in the winter was about the salt on the roads, not the rain, not the snow as such, just the salt on the roads. And there wasn't really a lot of salting going on. So I decided that Lou could stay out, and I would use her for the odd gig, which I did, through in Glasgow or in Edinburgh. Although it's not ULEZ compliant, Edinburgh's quite an easy city to get round and avoid the ULEZ areas. So I continued to use it. February the 8th, a friend of mine had asked me to, the other hobby that Neil and I share, Neil more than me, is drone flying. And I decided to go up to Dundee to fly over his estate. It's a big garden and a nice house in the country. We would fly over there just to recce the land and do it on a Sunday. My wife was at work, took the dog with me. Great drive up, great time flying around. Got to about 1:30, thought better head home. It had been raining quite a bit, but wasn't raining. And I thought I'd take advantage of the rain being off and get the top down. And I set off from just north of Dundee. And I got through Dundee and I was heading south, and the rain came on, then went back off again. I kept the top down. And then just north of turning for Stirling, which is junction 6, whilst I was overtaking one car, and a car was in front of me and a car was behind me in the outside lane, my car decided to hit some water. Well, I decided to hit some water, and first of all I got a shake and a shiver, but then I got a full spin, and I got a full spin 360 degrees. I don't know how many more degrees it would be, but I was facing the barrier of the hard shoulder side of the road. So not the middle barrier, but the hard shoulder side. And it was one of those scenes where it happens in slow motion. In your head, it happens in slow motion. I remember it in slow motion. I don't remember it at the pace it was actually going. And after spinning 360 plus some degrees, I could see the tops of trees. And the reason I could see the tops of trees is beyond the barrier is a steep embankment to wherever, hell probably. So I was probably doing about 60 miles an hour when the spin took place. I would probably still be doing 60 miles an hour because foot off the accelerator but not brake to try and get the car to go straight again. Didn't work on this occasion. Whatever whipped me round. But fortunately, I did not go over the barrier. Instead, the barrier knocked me back and sent me into another 360 spin on the motorway with the car behind me, the car in front of me, and the car beside me. All those cars missing me completely. Thank you very much. So I limped from there. There was no hard shoulder as such. There was just the white line in the barrier. So I limped to the first emergency lay-by and cutting this part as short as I can. Police came, understood I hadn't done anything wrong. The pickup truck came and picked me up, picked the car up. The damage was really, really similar to what Neil described of his car, except mine was all front end, so nothing at the back end. My bonnet had been pushed up a little bit. The steering rack had definitely gone. Headlight had gone on the passenger side. Steering wheel was at 90 degrees of where it should have been. And something had happened. It's a rear engine, and although I hit front impact, something, I guess the cooling system had knocked it, so the engine gave up by the time I got limped into the lay-by. So I had the same considerations as Neil had, which was, is it going to be worth putting back on the road? My decision was different from Neil's, so for good or for bad, Lou is no more. I got insurance money to allow me to write off Lou. No idea how much it would have cost to fix, because I didn't go into that. But I also, and I'm proud of Neil for not having this, but I had kind of anxiety about getting back into an any MR2, not just my MR2, and also to drive the M90. So I've got an issue with driving the road that I was on. I think that's quite understandable, and I've got an issue from driving an MR2. Not that there's anything wrong with the safety of them, it's just because I've got the memory that's tied to that. So on that day, February 8th, my immediate thought was, that's the end of Lou, so that's the end of 2 seats. And I've got to say, it took a bit of courage to build up to say that to Neil. And it was a difficult conversation. In fact, it's a difficult conversation that he'll say we probably never had. But that's just because of the state I was in. So I was not in a good place. I wasn't going to ever replace, never was going to get another MR2, and I still wouldn't get another MR2, and I wasn't going to replace a 2-seater convertible, because I just thought, well, I've had my day, and it wasn't a morbid thought, it was a very positive thought of, I was so lucky to get out of that, the way it spun round. I missed going over a barrier, and then I came back onto the road and I missed all these cars. That's your lucky chance gone. So, don't ever put yourself in a state where that can happen again. Anyway, a few weeks later, and so this shoulder's going, you're lucky to get away with it, forget about ever doing that again, but this one's going, well, you're here for a reason. So maybe just have some more fun. So what I then decided was there wouldn't be an MR2, but you know what? If an MX-5, or dare I say it, because I'd shared this story with my mate who has a Porsche Boxster, should a Porsche Boxster come along, because he had said, they're not that expensive now, and don't know how long that'll last before the price will go up again. So I was just nosing around the various sites, looking at anything but Toyotas, really. And I'm not knocking Toyota. That was a me thing, not the Toyota thing. So I'd seen a couple of nice MX-5s that were cheap. I'd seen a couple of Porsche Boxsters, one that I'd put a bid in for in Musselburgh. And there'd been a couple of the Mercedes SLKs, mainly the 200. There'd been a 280, I think it's called, or a 250 and a 380. Anyway, I just kept an eye on all of these, and then this one came up, and it was a Mercedes 200 SLK, and it was in Alloa. Now, most of these other cars I'd looked at, one was down in, I don't know, somewhere like Chester, and I was going to have to train it, and I'd planned my route to go down and buy it and all this stuff. This was Alloa, which, for those that don't know, that's probably 45 minutes from Livingston, where I live. And the guy had already dropped the price, so I messaged him to say, see that you've dropped the price, is this car still for sale? He said yes. And what I have shared with Neil is, it was almost like the Hartlepool picking up Lou all over again. This really nice guy, Jim, great chat on the phone, photographs that weren't on the site were sent to me of the car, showed me the history of it. I had explained to him that mechanically I haven't got a clue. So I literally said to him, this is what I'm going to offer you for the car. I'm not into haggling, so if there's nothing major wrong with it and I drive up there tomorrow, I'm going to do the deal. Obviously, if there's anything that I don't like, then I won't. But I'm not going to come up and ask you to knock any more money off it. But you need to agree to this price. So I hadn't even driven the car when I'd agreed the price. And then when I went up, in true Keith style, I still didn't drive the car. I got him to drive it so that I could check it out and listen.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm sure, as you're aware, we're having a few sound problems with our film at the moment. We'll do our best to rectify those just as soon as we can and return you to the film.
In true two seats Keith fashion, my technology failed me. First of all with the lights, and then completely. or I think it was sound, but anyway, some would say that's an improvement. So I'm going to finish the story from here. We were at the stage where handshakes have been done. The deal has been done with Jim from Alloa. He then kindly followed me back to the house with my new car. I didn't even have to organise transport, which would have been pretty difficult. So the car was back the day that I bought it, onto the driveway. I had to sort insurance and stuff out, didn't take long. So by the Monday, I forget the date now, but by the Monday it was mine and on the road. So since then, Muriel Heinz, because it's ML57, so that's 57 varieties, Heinz. Muriel, and it's a German car. So Muriel Heinz, the Mercedes SLK, has been 2 or 3 short runs and has been taken in with a little bit of trepidation because of the price I got her to the mechanic who looked after Lou. And he put it up on the ramps and he checked brakes and he checked the rear subframe, which tends to be a problem corroding with these cars. And unfortunately, I'm kidding, fortunately, nothing, could find nothing. Said I'd got the car for a steal. Brakes are great, engine's superb, so clean, no oil anywhere. Runs like a good one, no issues. So the only thing I would say is, and it wouldn't have put me off or changed the price. It could have done with a little bit of clean inside. So I've been busy cleaning since then. The leather I'm still not over the moon happy with, the leather seats. So, and I've used Auto Glim, but I think I just need to be a bit more patient, spend a bit more time. But to all intents and purposes, Muriel is good to go. And we will now be looking at the diary, knowing that we can do this this year. So coming up will be some organised trips and some solo trips for both parties, Neil and I, and we're really looking forward to 2 seats in 2026.